my parents told me they'd be leaving for the weekend to attend a family friend's wedding in another city, I didn't think much of it. They'd done it before. I was 22, responsible enough to manage the house for a couple of days, and my younger brother Ryan, who was 17, was more or less independent. Still, Mom looked at me as if she were leaving a baby alone with matches. Emma, please make sure Ryan eats real food, she said, handing me a list of things to do. No pizza for every meal. I laughed, rolling my eyes. Mom, I'll make him eat vegetables, I promise. Dad chuckled as he loaded their luggage into the car. And make sure he doesn't stay up all night playing those games of his. Got it, I said, waving. When their car finally disappeared down the street, I felt the quiet stretch across the house. It was a rare feeling, freedom mixed with a touch of responsibility. I turned to Ryan, who was leaning against the kitchen counter with a grin. So, he said, do we start with pizza or video games? I laughed. You're unbelievable. Help me clean up first, then maybe. The first few hours went smoothly. The house felt lighter without our parents, but also strangely hollow. I cooked pasta for lunch, and Ryan tried helping, which only resulted in noodles on the floor. By evening, we were sitting in the living room, watching a movie. The kind of peace that settles when everyone's just comfortable in each other's presence filled the air. But peace never lasts long in my family. Around 8, the power flickered. Once, twice, and then everything went black. Great, I muttered, searching for my phone's flashlight. Ryan groaned. Seriously, on the one weekend we're alone. We scrambled to find candles, laughing at first, but when thunder cracked outside, the laughter faded. The rain started pounding against the windows, and the house felt a little too big, a little too dark. Let's just stay in the living room, I said, lighting a candle. The warm glow softened the space, and we sat there listening to the storm. For a while, we talked about random things, his school projects, my upcoming job interview, the silly things our parents worried about. It felt nice, almost like we were old friends catching up instead of siblings who usually argued about chores. Then Ryan said something that caught me off guard. Emma, do you ever feel like Mom and Dad don't really see us? I looked at him. What do you mean? He shrugged. Like, they're always busy worrying, or comparing us to their friends' kids. I don't think they know what we actually want. His words sank deep. I'd never said it out loud, but I'd felt it too, that invisible gap between us and them. They loved us, no doubt, but love doesn't always mean understanding. I get what you mean, I said softly. I think they try, but sometimes they just forget we're growing up. He nodded, staring at the candle flame. Yeah, the rain continued through the night, and eventually, we went to bed. But I couldn't sleep. His words echoed in my mind, stirring something inside me, a need to fix what was broken between all of us. The next morning, the storm had passed. The air smelled clean, and sunlight broke through the clouds. I decided to do something productive. Come on, I told Ryan, let's clean the garage. He groaned, but followed. We found boxes stacked everywhere, labeled with dates going back years. As we sorted through them, one box caught my attention. It was labeled, Letters 1999. I opened it carefully, revealing a stack of envelopes. They were old letters between Mom and Dad before they got married. Out of curiosity, I read one. It was beautiful, raw, honest, full of dreams. Ryan peeked over my shoulder. Whoa, they actually used to write like that. I smiled. Guess so. We ended up reading a few more, and it struck me how much love had existed between them back then. Somewhere along the years, life had just buried it under bills, routines, and responsibilities. Later that afternoon, I caught Ryan on the phone, his tone defensive. No, man, I can't. My sister's here. Just drop it. When I asked what it was about, he hesitated. It's nothing, but I could tell something was wrong. He finally confessed that one of his friends had dared him to sneak out that night to a party. They said I'm too scared to live a little, he muttered. Ryan, I said gently, sometimes saying no takes more courage than saying yes. He looked at me like he wanted to argue, but then sighed. Yeah, maybe. That night, as we ate dinner, the tension lifted again. He cracked a few jokes, and we laughed until our sides hurt. It felt like the kind of evening I'd always wanted with my family. No arguments, no comparisons, just laughter. But the peace broke again when he accidentally knocked over a glass of water onto Mom's laptop. We froze. Oh no, he whispered. I rushed to dry it, praying it wasn't ruined. Ryan, why would you? I didn't mean to, he snapped, panic rising in his voice. It's fine, I said, trying to stay calm. We'll figure it out. But his frustration exploded. You don't get it, Emma. You always act like everything's fine, but it's not. You're not Mom, you can't fix everything. His words hit me like a slap. I wanted to yell back, but something stopped me. I saw his trembling hands, his eyes glassy with guilt. I'm not trying to be mom, I said quietly. I'm just trying to make sure we're okay. For a moment, silence filled the room. Then he sank into a chair and whispered, I'm sorry. We ended up sitting there for hours, talking about everything, the pressure he felt at school, the loneliness I felt trying to grow up too fast. By midnight, the air felt lighter. We weren't perfect, but we were real. The next morning, when Mom and Dad returned, they were surprised to find the house spotless. Mom hugged us both. Looks like you two managed just fine. I smiled, glancing at Ryan. We did more than manage. Later that evening, I left one of the old letters on my parents' bed, the one where Dad had written, no matter how busy life gets, promise me we'll never forget to listen. When I checked the next morning, the letter was gone, replaced by a note in Mom's handwriting, we heard you. That night, we all sat at the dinner table, laughing again. It wasn't about chores or grades or responsibilities anymore, it was about being present. And I realized then that what happens when parents aren't around doesn't have to be chaos or rebellion. Sometimes, it's the moment when you finally learn who your family really is, and what keeps you together.